welcome to my channel, and I am Stephanie, and this is the week 3 wrap up for May the 13th through the 19th, and let me tell you, it's been a busy week last week. Craziness. I wasn't even doing a readathon at all, and I read 11 books. As I said, I read 11 books this past week, and I wasn't doing a readathon. I am currently doing a readathon for this week, which next week you guys will hear all about. But last week was crazy because I put in a lot of books to go along with the challenges that I am doing for the year. So let's just get into the books that I read. The first book I read last week was A Secret One by Aleatha Romig, and this is a rom-com novella. It introduces you to two characters that you sort of found out about from one of her other books, and now they get their sort of lead-in novella. Yeah, I give it 4 stars. It was on ebook. She provided it for free to everyone in her group on Amazon, and I believe it may still be free, but it could have had a price attached to it. I'm not exactly sure, but I really did enjoy it. It was a great introduction and better understanding of Shauna and Trevor, and later on this week you will get to hear about their whole story. The next book I finished reading or read was The Immortal Circus Act 2, and that is by A.R. Kahler. I placed this in fantasy. I give it 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and this is the continuation of the story of Vivian, Kingston, Mab, and Oberon, and it's very fantastical. They're dealing with fairies and fae and getting more into the whole fae system. In this book, it happens to start about 3 months after Act 1 ended, so you get to see the aftermath of the fallout from Act 1, and it was okay. I enjoyed it. I am not rushing to get to Act 3, but I will get to it at some point this year. The next book I read was Too Late by Colleen Hoover. I placed this in the new adult section. I gave it 1 star. I listened to it on audiobook, and I think it is a dumpster fire piece of trash. There were so many things wrong with this book. Absolutely so many things wrong with this book. So from what I understand, it was first released on Wattpad, which meant that you got chapter upon chapter upon chapter, and then it was placed into a book. Okay, if you're gonna do it that way, can you please do some reformatting before you decide to change it into a book? Please? That's my first thing, because at the end of the book, you're like, okay, what? And then you get a prologue. Then you get 2 epilogues. Then you get some present day bullshit. I was just like, oh, why? So that is strike 2 for Colleen there, and she is now off of my TBR list. And there's just not going to be any convincing me to read any more of her books. Ever. Next book I read was There's No Love Like His by Jane Rowe, and I placed this in paranormal romance. It was a cute book. It was a cute book for what it was. It was a sort of novella, interracial novella, or maybe short story, because I definitely did place this on the Genreathon listing, because it was only, I want to say it was under 5 hours, and my current limit for audiobooks on Genreathon is 6 hours, so anything under 6 hours, so it falls into that category. I give it 3 stars for what it was. It was cute, and it was fun. It was a good cleanser after that whole last book debacle. The next book I read was The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. And oh my God, let me tell you, I'm just going to place this in classics. and I give it 3 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and I don't know what our school systems were thinking when I had to read this in high school, because I'm pretty sure I had to read it as required reading. And oh my God, the racial slurs and the racial just topics, and wow, mind blown that this is like a classic. I'm not down for banning books, and I'm not down for censorship, so I understand that it was in the jazz time and that time frame era that, it was. So there are a lot of people that use racial slurs and things like that, but damn! Then my week picked up. I read Dirty Girl by Meghan March. I placed this in erotica. Oh my God, I give it 5 humongous stars. I listened to it on audiobook. This book follows Greer and Cav. Woo! They have a history, and then they sort of spread apart. He goes his own way and decides to become a movie star, and whoo, yes, steamy, so hot and steamy, just so wow. And then you threw in some other things that were going on, and I got to the end of that book and was like, oh, let me go download the next book, which is A Dirty Love by Meghan March. Still an erotica, still give it 5 stars. Listen to it on audiobook. Now this one is more like 4.5 stars instead of 5 stars, because there were some things that I was like, I kind of wanted a little more closure on, but for the most part it was still hot and steamy and alpha and just yum. This finishes off Cav and Greer's story. It makes me want to go back and read the other, I think it's Dirty Billionaire series by Meghan March. Yes, that will be happening. Next, I read With Me by Amy Daws, and I placed this in rom-com. I was gifted this book by the author in audiobook form, so technically it is an ARC because it was an audiobook form and it was a gift, but this book is already out. I give this book 4 stars. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. This book follows Kate and Miles. Kate is this author that lost her mojo after a bad breakup, and she decides to go to this tire store, and she gets inspired. And Miles is her inspiration. They have a little tiff, and they have a little journey together, and some things happen. I don't quite agree with some of Miles's decisions, but it's fun. It's super sassy. And just so many yeses. It is definitely a rom-com. My week was starting to get better, and it continued to get better when I finished Collecting the Pieces by L.A. Fiore. I placed this in contemporary. I give it 5 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and this is Sydney's life story. That's all I'm going to tell you, because you need to go into this blind. You are getting a life story from when she was a youngster all the way to when she's an adult. She has some trying times, some traumas, some heartbreak. I probably shouldn't have listened to this story while I was in my car back and forth to work, because there were some moments that I was like, I can't really see. Yes, all kinds of yeses. Ended up finishing the book while I was sitting in my cubicle and just having a good cry. Definitely could have read this book for this week for Sabathon, but I finished it last week. Next, I finished another one, Lighter Ones number 2 by Aleatha Roman, and this is the full story of Shauna and Trevor. told you I was going to get to it, so I'm placing this one in rom-com as well. I give this book 4 stars. I read it as an arc, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, 4 stars, more like 4.5 stars, but there were some things that were a little missing for me, and I kind of wanted a little more, but that's okay, because this is the lighter side of Aleatha, and I have certain expectations when it comes to Aleatha's writing, and it got there, but it's her lighter side. So I wasn't looking for that super craziness. I was looking for that light side, which I got. And then finally, to finish off last week, I read The Right Love by K.A. Linde. I placed this in contemporary, although it could possibly be placed in new adult because our female character Sutton, which pretty much this is her story, I have been waiting for this story for a while, and I gave it 4.5 stars to 5 stars. So if you look on Goodreads, it's going to say 5 stars on there, and I read it as an arc. But let me get back to why I love this story so much, because it's Sutton's story. Sutton is the one that crushed my heart in one of the Wright brothers' books, and to get her story, I was just like, ugh. The first 20% or so, I'm in tears, because I was just like, oh, Sutton, oh. And then you add in David and his yumminess, and it was just like, yes, indeed. So those are the 11 books that I read last week. As you can see, I crushed it. Lots of audiobooks, but I crushed it. Even though I had that little slump in the middle of the week, I crushed it. 11 books is crazy. I know you're thinking I'm crazy, right? Have you read any of those books? What did you think about those books? Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.